They want to be the cheapest guy and get the job, and they come out here and realize this is going to be a lot more challenging and you're not going to make any money.
Let me see if I can find a tow truck. Like that would be like $4 grand.
What thing is gnarly, isn't it?
And we hit solid rock.
This is the sex cabin. I knew it. See that?
Oh my God, you're right.
I knew it, dude. That's a lot of goddamn brush, isn't it? Look at this.
Is that lightning?
Yeah, I'd say maybe it did blast there and went to the ground. I'd say that.
We could do 2 quotes, like one to get it removed and then another to have it left outside the fence.
Probably gonna want the brush gone out of here because it
Yes.
is gonna be a mountain of debris.
Yes.
Which isn't insanely high, for us to take that away. Where the cost comes in is us having to cut all the wood really small and carry it through the yard and load it. Which I'm more than fine with doing, but if you stack it neatly in the ravine over there versus having to roll it down this hill and load in a truck,
Have you already had time to think about how much that would cost?
I do, yeah. So if we take the tree down, remove all the debris, and stack up most of the large wood,
Yep.
something like that would be like $2,800.
Okay.
And then like a turnkey full removal. Haul all wood, all brush, cut the stump as low as we can. Something like that would be like $4 grand.
Okay. You said you were going to check with your partner about taking a credit card, or you guys do take credit cards?
Oh no, we take cards. Yeah, we take whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and you guys do pull permits?
Yeah, depending on weather, I could probably have my guys see. They're on that other job now, close by. So if you were able to make a decision pretty quickly, we could do this before we go all the way back down to Marion, which is where we're out of. Probably start on it tomorrow, but we would mobilize here today. Yeah.
We have.
Oh, you got a guest
people
come in.
staying there. Well, tomorrow is available. Thursday at 4 p.m.
We could have it done for sure by then.
We want to just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Do you know about our property?
I do, yeah. Actually, I've looked at it a bunch, and then as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, this is that place,
All right, well, thank you, and if anything comes up, feel free to give me a call if it's here.
All right, bye-bye.
What up, dog? With just hauling ships down, it shouldn't be heavy at all.
Oh, I'm going to go slow. I promise that.
Ryan, if you want to go ahead and take off, you can take off. They're gonna clean up a little bit. Slow chain. Just go down. Yeah, straight back up that hill.
Chipper's coming back to the shop.
Yeah, bring it on back. He'll get it tonight.
All right.
Thanks.
They put me in a fucked up spot, man. We're stuck.
You can't pull
Not even the F-250 pull it out.
You can't pull it with the other truck, is that what you said?
Yeah. And the way the first two I saw going up like behind you, it was just jumping all crazy. It wouldn't go up the hill even with a little bit of speed. So I got to turn around and I was coming up the other one. And then I got stuck on that one.
Can they pull the truck up and then go back down and get the chipper with the F-250?
I can't even get this truck out of the way. It's just jumping. The right side's spinning. It's just fuck. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to fuck it up. I mean, if that's a thing, I mean, I'll fucking dump the clutch and not that give it hell, but
No, you'll break the axle and be stuck up there and it'll cost me thousands of dollars to get it back down then. Alright, let me see if I can find a tow truck close by.
alright, thank you.
Yeah, I see it.
Basically, I can leave here for about 5 minutes and just be drive time. So,
Alright, so 20 minutes. I'll tell them.
yep.
Alright,
Okay.
see ya. Boy, that thing is gnarly, isn't it? If I could walk that hoe back over there, we might try to just pull the whole thing back, man. Even if we don't do that, I might still want to get the hoe behind it and reach the bucket up and just pull on the tree a little bit while he, you know what I mean, to keep any extra weight. Yeah. Well, that's a mess in there, ain't there?
Yeah, it is. It's vines. Absolute nothing but vines.
They must have just cut that old shit and let it lay, huh?
They did, yeah.
This right here, this is around the bottom of that. You don't have to pull the vines off. Let's just
Get in there.
we're gonna put a pulley on that.
That's fine.
Probably pull from back there, but pull this way.
Yeah.
Pulling that whole tree. Gonna strip all this and load it all out.
He was talking about it, but he said now that he's kind of looked at how much it'll be,
All
as
this.
far as how many loads of brush it, he just to haul it all out. He's thinking more than let's just leave it and keep this section maintained
Yeah.
every couple of years.
Water sits back here too, huh?
Right, that's what he was talking about. He said he wants me to take out those two stumps right beside the shop there.
Over there.
That
where
stump there and
drain-
this one here, and probably these few right in here.
Yeah.
But just to where he can get some positive drainage away from the shop. He said he's never really had nothing like crazy. He's noticed like some wet spots.
Yeah.
But nothing like.
Yeah, never come in. Cutting this is gonna be fucking sketchy because where it's split, you don't know what's tight and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be bound on you.
What would you do? Cut it from the bottom, or you go up to above the split?
Right now, as low as we can.
Low as you can.
Yeah, there's less pressure on all those cords, you know. I knocked the freaking power line out Monday myself.
Really?
We shouldn't make cut this little too big deal. I should have cut a little bit higher before I cut. No, it's just it's a healthy old tree still.
Yeah.
What was. I'll see you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Call me if you need anything else. All right. right, so that was a super sketchy tree to pull back like we did, because when you're pulling a tree like that, when you're trying to, if it's leaning like this and you want to stand it all the way up, there's so many things that could possibly happen that could go wrong. If a tree's standing, you know, leaning very heavily to one direction and you want to pull it side to side, that's very different than standing all the way back up and then pulling it backwards. I would have absolutely never tried that if Petey, who's a contract climber for us, wasn't with us. Petey and I started working together, let's see, 7 or 8 years ago now, and we kind of learned trees together. Petey was already climbing for another guy, and that guy wasn't treating him really well, and come to me and asked me if we could do some tree work together. And so we learned a lot together, and we've worked a lot together along the way. And you know, it's worked for me on and off, and does his own thing, and pretty much just contract climbs now. And so if I don't feel like climbing, I'm tired, or just don't want to do it, or it's a little sketchy or something like that, where like we need both people to work really well together, someone on the excavator who understands trees and someone cutting who understands how much they can pull at one time. I always bring Petey in because it's, you know, someone that I can trust and I know, and we work well together, and we've fortunately, I don't think ever had an accident together where some other folks, you know, where we don't really know each other well, or how we're working together well, or how much the other person is used to pulling or used to cutting and leaving a wedge or whatever. Things can get a little weird that way. So we work with Petey a lot on trees that we need an extra hand on.
Alright, if you guys remember, a little over a year ago, we came into this development. A customer wanted us to clear their lot, and you know, somehow we ended up getting multiple lots to clear. Everyone's ready to build at the same time, which is really cool. So we're over on the other lot up over this ridge here. We've been on that for 3 weeks. Unfortunately, we hit solid rock over there, and the guys are just trying to hammer through that, and permits were ready on this one. So we came over, and it's super foggy, cloudy day up here, so you can't see really well, but we have cut the whole basement is cut out. Where the 317 is sitting now is the garage cut, so we've cut that out. And we actually flip-flopped the driveway. We were going to make a circle drive, but now they want the drive just to go out the other end and straight into the garage. So the driveway is roughed in. It's crappy weather, so everything's super wet. So we can't put any stone on the driveway yet. We're going to try to wait a few days for that to dry up and then fabricate and put some stone down. Can't see it in the camera, but this is a very steep slope, so both the garage and the basement we cut to daylight, so which means grade is lower than our actual desired grade. So they're going to have to do a turn down slab or built up footing. Yeah, we're gonna try to get it restaked soon while the equipment is here, and get the footers dug so the masons can get up here before it gets too cold.
We had a big delay this morning, but we were gonna go over to this job where during Helene, a little over a year ago now, this enormous boulder, 3 times the size of this truck, basically like floated down this hill with so much water, and come literally within like 2 inches of this building. If it went any further, it would just totally knock the building over. You can't even put your hand between it and the building. So the guys are heading over there now, and they're gonna try to hammer the rock apart and use the 308 to move the other pieces. We were gonna go over there and help them this morning, but we've had a little bit of a time delay. So we are heading over and gonna lay out the septic site on one of the lots we're developing in the development that you guys seen from yesterday. So they have that ready to move to for the next 2 days while I'm not here. That are doing septic or getting started in septic in the mountains, this isn't what we would really technically call a steep lot. It's a steeper lot, and to most guys this is very steep, but a lot of the stuff we do, this is actually a pretty nice lot for us. But on these slopes, when you're putting in septic, you follow what's called a contour line. You guys that have done septic forever, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's common sense to you almost, but the guys that are getting started may not know what contour is. And what contour is the run of the grade across the lot, right? So when I'm shooting with the laser and I'm eyeball level, that doesn't really mean anything at all on the lot, because here, as you see, it runs pretty straight, like a ski slope down almost. And here where I'm standing, there's a big hole. You know, it's not smooth. You know, it drops down into a big hole. And when it drops like that, what happens is the contour or the topography lines, they get much closer. So if you're running a laser level across, or if you had, you know, an 8-foot level and you just kept going across the ground with it, what happens is these lines get closer and closer and closer together. And you know, however your permit's written, typically we got 9-foot space in between our lines. So what that means is if we get to this area where there's this big hole, our lines are going to get to really close together really, really quickly. So if we start out where it's, you know, nice even slope and we just do our 9 or 10-foot spacing, some guys just go with 10 feet to make sure that they don't get too close together at any point. When we get out here and we get into this big dip, this big crater, all of our lines are just going to run together really fast. So sometimes it's really hard for your eyeball to be able to see that. And what that also means too is that the contour doesn't always run. Like our house site up there is perpendicular to the lot lines, or parallel if you're looking at the top and bottom lot lines. So that unfortunately doesn't mean we get to just run our septic line straight in parallel with the house, which is what many folks or homeowners think, that the lines just all run straight on the lot. In reality, what's going to happen is these 3 lines here at the end, they'll be 9 or 10 feet spaced apart, and there at the far end, from the upper to the second line, it's actually almost 20 feet. It's moved so far because, again, you got to keep in mind this end is what's going to matter here, because it's a minimum of 9 feet space, and it really doesn't matter how far they get apart over there if the lot, you know, is long enough and allows for that and allows for a repair area below it. Here it does. There's hundreds of feet for repair, but this can be quite challenging because if you don't start at the correct end, you're going to move your line several times, which is, you know, a huge time waster. And it's why a lot of guys don't like to do septic or frankly a lot of work on these steeper slopes, because you can't just, you know, if this was a flat level field or, you know, a slope that just all ran gradually, you kind of eyeball it, start throwing your flags out and shoot them out as you go. Here you may have to move these several times, and looking back through there's several very large 2-3 foot mature stumps that we're also trying to navigate around, that we don't necessarily want to dig if we don't have to. So not only are we battling this big hole, our contour lines all being correctly spaced, but you know, if we get halfway out through there and we're running right through the middle of a stump, we got to decide, hey, do we lay the whole thing back out again, or dig this stump up? And you know, if we lay it out again and we're 4 or 5 feet down more on this end, that maybe 10 or 15 feet on that end, and now we're getting really far down the lot. So there's a lot you got to play with on these to make sure it all makes sense and it's feasible. And
you're not spending way too much money on the customer's dime or your dime on digging up unnecessary stumps or potentially burning up 60 to 80 feet of a lot that is now deemed septic area that you can't really do nothing with in the future. So a lot of playing around on these steeper lots, and not necessarily even steeper lots. You could have a flatter lot that's got a lot of dips and holes and stuff that and some people will say, well, why don't you just go in and fill it all in and smooth it out? Well, you can't put septic in fill material, so you know, you don't get to do that either. So so make a lot more sense if you could see the lines, and as the guys install, you'll be able to see how the lines will kind of move around together and stuff. But yeah, pretty challenging sometimes. This is a decent lot, you know, on having to lay these things out. Sometimes there may be a hole on that side and a hole on this side, or a hole right in the middle, and it's really hard to manipulate all that and make sure it all works. Fortunately, there's just this one hole in this area here that's squeezing our lines together. But keep that in mind when you guys are pricing septics, especially if you're new to septic and you're pricing septics on these steeper lots or lots that have a bunch of holes. Sometimes it pays to go back to your office and pull up the GIS, or if the customer has a survey done and you can see the topography lines, if you know how to read those, you'll see where they get tighter and further apart on the lot, and kind of know that you're gonna have to play that into your price, you know. Or just don't price everything for these ridiculously cheap margins that everyone's trying to battle each other, and they're not going out and doing the homework on this, and everyone's trying to drive the price down lower and lower and lower because they want to be the cheapest guy and get the job, and they come out here and realize, damn, this is going to be a lot more challenging and you're not going to make any money. So yeah, do your homework or keep driving your prices up, and when you do run into something like this, it doesn't bite you in the butt. So we're gonna get out of here and get out of the rain. All right, guys, we are back at the property. If y'all remember, a couple months ago, we had a video of this place where we came out and priced a demo, and we had to drive through a bunch of trash, and there was just boats and all kinds of stuff along the side of the driveway that was almost undrivable. The bridge was not crossable to get into here. But man, we love it when a customer trusts us to come in and just clean up an entire property and kind of get it ready for their forever home. And that's what we were able to do here. We have demoed a double wide. We've put a new bridge in, fixed their road coming up, put in a RV site for temporary housing until they build their full-time home here at the top of the hill where the mobile home used to be. We've cleaned up around this small building that was here. There was a ton of small buildings up through the side of the driveway there, and boats, and just all kinds of 8 dump truck loads of miscellaneous trash. And yeah, we are now doing the first cut of the whole property. It's 37 acres here total, but there's probably about 7 or 8 of field below where the house site will be. So we are cutting that now with the 265 and a brush cutter. I've got some guys on weed eaters in some of the smaller areas that we can't get the brush cutter in. But yeah, check this total transformation out.